After his shower, Tom froze in shock. The family's robot nanny, who normally dressed conservatively, was suddenly standing there in lingerie. Even stranger, she started trying to undress herself, almost as if she thought this would comfort Tom and help him forget about his wife, who was gravely ill in the hospital. But with his wife's life hanging by a thread, the last thing on Tom's mind was anything like that. He mumbled an excuse and rushed out, never noticing the hurt look in the robot's eyes. Later, he brushed it off, telling himself it was just the nanny's program running some unnecessary function. After all, every day when he came home, the house was spotless, dinner was ready, and the kids were well taken care of. She never gave him a reason to worry. That night, his eldest daughter Missy dragged a chair over to reach some snacks on a high shelf. The chair wobbled, and she nearly fell. Tom heard her scream and ran downstairs, only to see the robot nanny had caught her in time. But her leg had been cut on some broken glass, and realistic-looking blood streamed down her skirt. Guilt washed over Tom. He hurried to grab some of his wife's clothes to change her into, but when he stepped into the room, his heart skipped. There she was, in lingerie again, head bent, as she carefully tended her wound. Tom's breathing grew heavy. Since his wife had gone into the hospital, it had been a long time since he'd been close to a woman. Still, he fought the urge and simply asked if she needed to be sent back for repairs. Instead, she slowly peeled away the bandage, deliberately exposing smooth white skin, and said she had already healed. That's when Tom realized something wasn't right. She was deliberately trying to seduce him. Later that night, bored and restless, Tom asked her to watch a movie with him, but she immediately spoiled the ending, having stored the plot in her memory. Tom groaned, telling her that ruined the fun. Movies had to feel new to be enjoyable. She calmly explained that if he held the button on the back of her neck for a few seconds, she'd reset and forget everything, including the film. Without thinking much of it, Tom pressed the button. Sure enough, after rebooting, she watched like it was the first time. What he didn't realize was that he had just unlocked her Pandora's box. Not long after, terrible news arrived. His wife's condition had worsened, and she needed immediate surgery. The doctors weren't optimistic about her chances. Tom began giving the robot nanny detailed instructions on all the little habits and needs of his family, almost like he was preparing his final words. But things only got worse. At the construction site, the boss decided to cut costs by replacing all the workers with robots. Tom was furious. The boss had sworn this would never happen, but now that the project was nearly complete, the promise was suddenly tossed aside. Worse yet, the boss wanted Tom to convince the workers to leave, dangling a promotion in front of him. Supervisor of the new android workforce. That meant firing men who'd been like brothers to him for years. To Tom, it felt like betrayal, but with his family's financial troubles, he had no way out. Back home, weighed down by guilt and frustration, he retreated to the garage to work on his car, the only thing that ever eased his stress. And even though she was just a machine, the robot nanny could still tell that Tom's heart was in pieces.